It's that time, Clint.
What? Really?
Time to slop the hogs, baby.
Oh, it's no hat day again.
No hat day, and it's Texas
Horns
week.
down week. Horns down. We don't subscribe to that.
Texas week. Eh, eh.
I got. We do
We,
hate Texas. So.
as Sark said, we hate Texas more than we like ourselves.
And we like ourselves a lot. I'm a great guy.
That's right.
I just
So,
really
but
hate
that's
Texas.
probably true. So, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, I want to talk a little bit about the Hogs National Championship year. Heard an interesting interview at the Touchdown Club the other day. Well, I wasn't there. I listened to it on YouTube's. But if you didn't get to hear it, so I learned some new stuff from Barry Switzer and Ken Hatfield and Billy Mitchell,
And
Billy,
also,
whatever his name is.
on this week's episode, we discussed my adventure picking up the turkeys from the processing plant.
Yeah, turkeys from the processor. So, folks, like, share, comment right now. You know it's going to be good. You know it is.
It
Look
has
who
to.
you got hosting it.
Time of your
You got
life.
these two good-looking guys on your
Oh,
screen right now, or
right here.
talking through your ear hole.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
in
what's
here.
going to be good. Look, I'm just going to say it. We're the two best looking dudes over 300 pounds you'll ever find.
Fantastic. Yep.
That-
100,
We're the
100%.
sexiest ones. Hey,
100.
we're just saying it. We're just saying it. We're just that confident in ourselves to say that. All right. So, where else are you going to get that? Well, don't search it on the internet. That can lead you to a bad spot.
Yeah.
So, like, share,
Google it.
comment, and get ready for some hog slop with Big C and Bigger T, baby.
1, 2, 3, 4. You ever seen a lame man walk? Ever heard a dumb man talk? Ever seen a blind man see? I promise you will change his thing. You ever seen a cancer dead? Ever seen all the poor get fed? Ever seen a prisoner set free? I promise you will change his thing.
It's on its own word.
Changes things, my Lord, changes
What's up, everybody? Singing a little Uncle Tom's Diner on the Hog Slop podcast. I'm your boy, Bigger T, and I'm joined as always by my man, Big C, rocking the Hawaiian shirt,
Yeah. It felt like an Hawaiian shirt kind of gay.
looking as Magnum PI as ever.
Yeah.
How
That's
you
what I
doing,
should do. I
Clint?
should bring the stat. Man, I am fantastic. I am fantastic. Better than I deserve. I teased it, had an interesting day where I
Yeah,
went. I go, one of the things we do here on the farm, we raise our own poultry, and mostly I do it just because I like bone meat.
yeah.
Um, but I raised turkeys and so sold quite a few. Well, anyway, I went took them to the processing plant, right? We drop them off. It's not a big deal. Go pick them up, and I do try to take this off my wife's plate. She does everything. I'm a very lucky man. Um,
Yes, you are.
I go to pick them up, and and she goes, "Well, you just got to go back to the back and find somebody over there, kind of where you drop them off." So I'm walking around. I'm just like, "All right, there's just freaking chickens just sitting there, waiting to just meet their death."
Yeah.
And I look out there and like on the pad where we unload them, there's just a random chicken head.
Hmm.
And I took a picture of it, like it's just a freaking chicken head just laying there, just like that chicken no longer exists. Like his
Yeah.
body is somewhere and it's not attached to its head.
Yeah.
Just laying there. And
Yeah.
I find a guy sitting in his truck on his lunch break.
Mhm.
I said, dude, I'm trying to find him. Like they gotta listen. And I go back, I think, to their break room and then come back up because, man, I hope you're not squeamish. It's like it's go through here to go. And there wasn't any like dead hanging chickens or some of the horrors from my youth when, my papa just opened the back of the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
There's the cow head on his back, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
but they've got to come up with a better system. They need to be at least be a guy that says
Yeah.
that way they can load it. Like again, it's like man,
At least have some customer service where they
just like a
walk you
customer
through.
service rep, at least a hotline where you can call and say, "Hey, man, I'll be there in 30 to pick up the turkeys," and they
Well,
can be like, "All right, bet that we'll have an eye out."
as
And
you
then they have
know,
to get Billy Bob out of his truck, out of his 1997 Ford Ranger.
well, as you know, I'm
Man,
familiar.
I did got the ears on. We got a big fat one out here trying to get him from turkeys.
As you know, I'm familiar with the place where you get yours slaughtered.
Yeah.
And I remember as a young man, we were deer hunting, and the guy we hunted with killed a nice buck, and all the processing places around there were filled. Because during deer season they get backed up.
Right.
And so, and this guy was a dentist, so he was, had some money, and he's like, look, he said, I'll pay you whatever if y'all just take it. And they're like, look, we'll take it, but we can't skin it. You got to skin it. And he's like, well, can I skin it here? Because our deer camp, and his house was even farther away than our deer camp. They're like, sure. So we went back to where they unload like animals in the chute.
Yeah.
And there was a
Okay.
crossbar across the top, We hung the deer up there, and we skinned the deer right there in that chute. And then like they were giving us, like, we used some of their knives and saws and stuff,
Oh, wow.
to cut it up. Like they were giving us free reign. Like we're walking in and out where they're processing the meat. So I'm walking past slabs of meat hanging or whatever. Now, another crazy childhood memory in Clinton was we used to have a chicken plant up there.
No, and that's where I actually take it because it's like behind the Walmart Super Center back out there. But there's a chicken plant. It's natural state processing.
Yeah.
The one you're talking about, I'm familiar with that one. It's Cypress Valley now, but it used to just be Clinton
Okay.
meat processing. That's where that's where I take my cows and pigs.
Oh, okay.
But
Gotcha.
the poultry I take to natural state processing.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean,
Okay.
that's a free plug. But they do great work, but you need to get better communicate, better.
Yeah, better customer service.
And then don't leave just a random chicken head out either.
That's right. Yeah. well, folks, it is Texas week. This is the
Texas
game that
week.
probably, if you looked at our schedule at the beginning of the year, this is the one that most Arkansas fans would circle. Wouldn't you say, Clint? I mean,
no, 100%. And I know there'd be nothing. Listen, that seat got heated last week.
mm-hmm.
I mean, it got warm.
Yep.
It was about to 2. And I'd say it got turned to about a 4.
Well, Clint, and here's something that let's talk about that. Well, it's not.
Well,
we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too far into it, but he didn't.
No, I
help
don't. But
himself.
you win this game, that goes down to probably a 0.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah.
You're not.
Sure.
I mean, if you beat Texas, and then we're going to just assume you're going to take care of business, Louisiana Tech. Sam Pittman's job is safe, and he knows it. He's not coaching for his job. He can lose it, and I think still keep his job. There's a possibility, but the talk is done.
Yeah. You beat Texas, it's done. Yeah.
You beat Texas, it's done.
But I'll tell you, he didn't help himself Monday at his press conference when he and like, I love his honesty, and everyone knew what he said is true. Did you watch his press conference Monday?
I did, yeah.
When he said, we didn't play hard. I don't like hearing that, Clint, from a coach. I don't, and we can see that, but for him to admit that, and because that goes to coaching. I mean, the players got to play hard, but coaches have to motivate them. And so that didn't help him much when he said that. There's been some critiques of him saying that out there.
No, but like you said, you love his honesty. You might not should have been that honest, but I mean, man didn't lie.
Yeah.
Um, um, so it doesn't happen to all. I mean, every team has a game like that on
Yeah.
occasion, but you hate to you hate
Well,
to see it.
that loss doesn't look quite as bad after what Ole Miss did
No.
against Georgia.
You beat Georgia, and man, Georgia scored 10 points. Ole Miss. I mean, their defense obviously Georgia's defense is next level, and Ole Miss only scored 20. Like Lane said, they're 2 plays away from being undefeated.
Yeah.
Um, would you want to see them in the playoffs?
No. No,
You know
in
what I'm saying?
fact, I think when we get to the end of the season, even after this game this weekend, no matter I think after this game this weekend, we're still going to say the best team we've seen all year is Ole Miss.
No, I agree with you 110%. I think so far I do think they're the best team we've seen. I know, Louisiana State, LSU, they got them night time and Baton Rouge and got them like in overtime.
Yeah.
Um, and then Kentucky somehow beat them. That's
Now,
that may be the most baffling result in the history of results. Is that
now some good things is that Taylor Green has been practicing. He's practiced last week and this week. So he's hopefully the injury won't be an issue. Um, Jaquindon Jackson is supposed to be ready to play. Uh,
Yeah.
You're also looking at possibly getting Braxton back at corner. That would be a huge to get him back, especially with the way they were picking on Singletary in the last game, and then Hudson Clark, got picked on pretty good too.
Well, Travis? Why should this game be different? Why should this game be different? What makes us think just besides having those healthy players? What's going to be different? Because I know what's going to be different.
What's that?
I have hope, Travis.
That's your
Hope. I'm here. I'm an agent of hope, is what I am.
okay. What's the hope?
So, what killed us against Ole Miss was not dink, dunk, dive. It was came out, they were throwing bombs.
Yep.
It was like it wasn't like you went out there maybe expecting the Mayweather treatment where he's just going to pepper you with the jab, and then you got the Mike Tyson treatment like I don't get paid by the hour.
That's right. Yep.
And that's what I mean. And Ole Miss just drove the ball down. But
And Watkins, yeah.
Twin Ewers does not have incredible arm strength.
Yeah.
I mean, he just doesn't. Accurate is accurate. You got to keep it in front of you. I don't think you're going to see the big slashing, gashing plays against us that you saw. I think a bad game against Texas will look like LSU. It is. I don't see this one getting out of hand by any stretch of the imagination. But that being said, you're going to have to keep them in front. You have to tackle it. But I think you don't really necessarily have to play off. I think you can play up closer. I think you can blitz more. You get a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. I think I expect to see a much better defensive effort against Texas than we saw against Ole Miss. And like you said,
I think you're probably going to see more zone. I think the defense we're going to see is going to be more like Oklahoma State, what we saw against them, because they do have a good running game, and a zone does, even if you don't have as many people in the box, a zone is better against the run because your guys don't get ran off the line. So that may mean some less blitzing. But I think one of the big things in the Ole Miss game that Pittman said himself was we have to self-scout. They knew what we were doing on defense. And so to me, hopefully we're going to see Travis Williams, the Travis Williams of early in the season, not the Travis Williams of the last 3 games, because in the last 3 games, the defense has not been as tight as what it was before. It just hasn't. Now, some of that's we played some better quarterbacks. Okay. That's been
not just that. As Travis Williams is still a young coach. He's a good coach, but he's still a young coach.
Yeah.
And hopefully he's taking these in. He's learning lessons and he's learning to adapt and overcome and change it up. And he's and you get to where he is because he's a student of the game, and he's going to keep working.
Mm.
And if you think he hasn't picked Petrino's ears and he hasn't picked Pittman's ears, I mean, we're being foolish.
Yeah.
But I was actually I'm not mad at him at all for saying that. Hey, no, I noticed you didn't play hard, and telling the team that they got a self scout because when you get your ass kicked like that,
Man.
you can do one of two things. You can either like, well, crap, or you can be like, all right, this ain't gonna happen. No, this happened to me. It ain't gonna happen again.
Yeah.
And I think and it's good that you got a coach like Pittman that's going to tell the kids like, no, you and I both know that effort wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
He didn't go out there and throw the players under the bus. I mean, to a degree, he said like he just spoke truth and everybody saw it.
Yeah.
He didn't go, oh, well, Peyton Thorne can't quit throwing interceptions.
Yeah.
Or quarterbacks suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we beat Arkansas 9 out of 10 times, and everybody knows.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But I am this is the game, man. This is it's circled on the calendar.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about what an underrated rivalry it is. So,
well, one of the things too, Texas has not played that tough of a schedule. By far, the toughest team they played has been Georgia, which is tough.
Yeah.
But they haven't played. They haven't played a lot of really good quarterbacks. Taylor Green's going to be one of the better quarterbacks they played against this year. So that gives us a little hope. Their defensive tackles are pretty good. Their ends are athletic, but they are susceptible to the run just because they're, a little bit. So we got to get if Jaquindon Jackson and Russell are going to be huge if we can get them going.
Yeah, 100%. And in Texas' defense, it's hard to criticize their schedule when you play Michigan. Yeah. I mean, who would have thought that Michigan is going to be that bad?
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't necessarily their fault, but they didn't play last year's Michigan this year. They played.
Right? Yeah, no, 100.
I mean, it was the returning, the national champions from last year, but they weren't the same team, and we didn't know that,
So yeah, and you never know. Sometimes if you look at Arkansas' schedule on paper, the SEC schedule, and it's a traditional SEC schedule, you're like, oh man, this is great. I mean, how often is Ole Miss ranked in the top 5? It's just things like that. I mean, that doesn't happen often. Missouri's on a historic uptick, which I don't know. They didn't look good. They definitely don't look great without Brady Cook. But it'll be our luck. He'll be healthy right in time for Arkansas.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Clint, there's one thing I wanted to talk about. This week at the Touchdown Club, David Basil, friend of the program.
Dude, I hate that so much that was a complete crap. I mean, just a
that was
mud
crazy.
show awful when he was on here.
Yeah. But anyway, he brought in Barry Switzer, Ken Hatfield, and Billy Mitchell. Billy Mitchell was the quarterback for the national championship team. And then, of course, Hatfield was the receiver, punt returner. And then Switzer was a coach for that team. Well, they were talking, and we've heard a lot about that team. It was a great turnaround that year because in '63 they went 5-5, and then went undefeated and won the national championship. Of course, there's the argument of, Alabama claims that championship too, but Arkansas got it after the bowl game.
Well, I
So,
mean, yeah, you can't. It's hard to. I mean, is what it is. I mean, the times it
yeah.
was. I mean, a bunch of people crowned the national champs. They hadn't been national champs. You had all American teams.
Yeah.
So
Well, one of the things they talked about though is and one of the things they said was one of the main reasons they won was something that Frank Broyles adapted to quicker than most other coaches did. And that was this. In 1963, whenever you went from offense to defense, you could only substitute one player. So 10 of your guys were going both ways.
right.
So that means in practice, you're practicing offense against a scout team. And then those same guys would switch over and they're your first string on defense. You couldn't practice offense and defense at the same time. Well, the next year, the rule changed in 64, and you could sub like you can now. You could sub out anybody you wanted to. Well, most coaches still did practice the same way. And some of them didn't sub that much. They still played guys both ways. But Frank Broyles said, no, we're going to play as close to 22 guys as we can. And so that means in practice, his offensive guys would go over on this side and work on offense, and his defensive guys would go on this side and work on defense. And so they got twice the practice that a lot of other teams were getting. Plus, they were fresh because a lot of other teams were still playing Ironman football. Had you ever heard that?
I had not heard
That
that.
was the year that happened. I'd never heard that before.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that was the
crazy.
year. And the fact that Frank was that quick to jump on it and say, hey, the rules changed. This is the way it needs to happen. Now it's obvious, right? I mean, that's the way coaches do it all the time.
But here's the thing. If he had done that in the era of drive time sports.
Yeah.
And drive time sports it existed. And they go, so you'd have Randy. I tell you, I heard that Frank Broyles down there, and he is subbing out players. I tell you, when I was a kid in high school, when I played, I was third string varsity for Rooster, Arkansas, and we played both ways. Like, man, I'll hang up and listen. Back Chad Morris.
If that Jimmy Johnson ain't willing to play tight end and defensive end, then I don't want him on my team, Randy. I don't want him.
Yeah. What's sad is we're not making
that would happen. That would happen.
That sure. Somebody was at the barbershop there in Fayetteville being like, I tell you, this coach is a dadgum hippie.
No, it'd be Steve from Magnolia would be the one doing it. He'd be guaranteed. He'd be guaranteed, man.
No, that's crazy to think about,
Yeah.
You had some kids like in high school. Well, I know, I think his ninth grade year, DJ Vinaco never left the field.
Yeah.
Like he was on every special team. Played offense, defense.
Well, folks, look, I know I've talked about my kicking in high school, but I'll be honest with you. The main reason I was the kicker in 11th grade was because Rodney Easterwood was on every special team, and we were having a competition in practice over who would kick field goals and extra points.
Right. Yeah.
And we were tied. And so we were going back and forth. Coach was putting us in spots and we both kept making them. And finally Rodney goes, I'm on every special team. Let him do it. And he probably would have ended up beating me. I'm not going to lie to you. Because he was good at everything. Okay. I had my little thing.
He played at UCA. He had him.
Yeah. He was our man child on that football field. So yeah. But that's the way, that is the way things happen, the way things were back then. They were Iron Men. They played both ways, which would be interesting. I was talking to our buddy Joey about this, if guys still played both ways today, it'd be neat to see, like Ray Lewis playing fullback. you know, or
Well, I don't think Frank gets enough for, a lot of times he was ahead of his time and he saw
yeah,
things coming, maybe
yeah,
he got old and maybe should have stepped down a few years before he did.
yeah,
Maybe, I mean, you could argue that he meddled too much in the football program. But, as far as like having the guts to lead to see what was happening in the Southwest Conference and
yeah,
seeing the SEC, like this is what we got to go,
yeah,
and to have the guts to do it. And then, also, the facilities at Arkansas. And then, he also was the first person to hire an African American coach in the Deep South to coach a major program too.
yeah.
So he doesn't. I think he gets credit. And by the way, apparently he's a great color commentator. I've never seen him color commentate, but
I've heard some of it. Him and Keith Jackson,
yeah.
The old school Keith Jackson.
Well,
But
if you're
yeah,
good enough to do it with Keith Jackson, you're good enough to do it. So
yeah.
Travis, what's the score in the basketball game? I'm charging my phone.
Hold on, I switched off of that. Let me look. 48-38. Hogs.
Okay, well, good. We were down a little bit at halftime. So.
Yeah, just by one, I think. Or
I'm sure we'll out athlete a lot of these teams in the second half.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's talk about basketball a little bit. The Baylor loss was, not good. But that Baylor was a good team, and that was a learning thing. Listening to
they were ranked above us for a reason. And Scott Drew's a great coach too. National champion coach.
and listening to who's the assistant coach that came from Louisville?
Oh, I can't remember his name. I know you're talking about, but I can't remember his name.
He did the press conference this week, and they asked him. They said, "Look, we had obviously had a problem shooting threes. That was an issue. Do you feel like that's something that this team will have trouble with all year?" And he said, "No, I don't think so." Coach isn't going to say that, but hopefully he's right. Hopefully he's right. Yeah. That because I really don't think, because like Davis, from what I hear, is a better shooter than what we've seen out of him. Some of the other guys I think will end up being some solid shooters. Look, Thero is a freak athlete, man. That kid, he's going to have some dunks between him and Brazil. There's going to be some crazy dunks happen this year. But we've already talked about Boogie on here. There's a lot of those guys, man. They're impressive. I mean, we're seeing some good things out of them. Puppy,
I got a puppy right there.
The puppy love.
The puppy love. He's loving on his daddy.
Yeah. Speaking of puppies, did you see the tribute they did for Kirk Herbstreit's dog?
No, and I'm not going to watch it, because if I wanted
You'll
to
cry.
cry at a dog,
You'll cry.
I wanted to cry about a dog, I would watch Old Yeller or
Where the Red Fern Grows.
Like serious. What's the what's the last movie? What was the last movie that really just made you boo? When's the last time you cried at it?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a couple that kind of get me every time. Like, Remember the Titans gets me every time.
The movie,
"You
the
Superman."
movie Warrior. Then the movie Warrior 2 gets me.
Really?
Yeah, where they're walking out. I mean, have me a good cry.
A couple spots in Rocky.
Yeah. And then if I really just want a good cry, you know what I do? I get my phone out, I open my bank account app, and I put my thumb on the bottom of my phone.
That's right. Well, Clint, I may get us flagged by YouTube. I don't think I will.
How are you going to get flagged by YouTube?
Can you hear that?
Uh-uh. No. Well, hey, good news. You're not going to get us flagged by YouTube. Yeah, I don't hear anything, buddy. What were you playing me?
Can't hear it?
Uh-uh.
coming through my headphones.
Yeah, it ain't coming through this microphone.
Playing a short cross Texan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, we played that before.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But by the way, be sure you like, share, subscribe. But the most important thing you can do, horns down.
Hey, now what's your prediction on the game? We got to do that.
28-24 Texas.
All right. I'm going to have my official prediction. My official prediction is going to be 36-28 Texas.
36. Okay. First off, how are they going to score 36 points?
I don't know. I just say a number.
I know your rationale.
I just say a number.
What's going to happen is their game's going to be in hand, and they're going to score a last touchdown, and they're going to be like, "Look, listen, we can kick this."
Look, one time in junior high, those Super Bowl grids or whatever, where you pick the last number of the score.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll never forget. I think Bobby Jones did one in like junior high. Brought it to school. And we put like $1 on it or something, or it may have been a quarter. I don't remember what it was. And I got a square, but I didn't get one. Like I was the last person to pick. And so I got 0-0. And that was the, who was it? Forget what Super Bowl it was, but the score was 50-10.
Oh.
And so I won that. So,
so good memory.
That's I've rarely won things like that, Clint. So, I gotta, but no, but here's the deal, folks. There's something in me, dude. I can't shake it. That really thinks Arkansas can pull this off.
No, there is me too. I think they got a shot at it. I didn't pick them before the season. I'm not going to pick them this season. I still think Texas, by the way, there will be another fine coming if Arkansas wins.
Yep.
100%. There's just
Texas will be getting a little more money for their NIL probably, but
enjoy it.
It'll go to Manning. But yeah, so folks, let them hang. Go Hogs, beat the Horns, beat them short squash Texans. Look, like, share, comment, share a lot. This podcast, we need you. Subscribe to the YouTube. We need more subscribers.
YouTube's.
Like us on Instagram and all those other places. Facebook. All that. And folks, we appreciate y'all so much. Clint, here we go.
Bye, everybody.
Come on, Texas. Come on.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come.